You spend your life trying to make everyone happy. You smile when you're tired. You agree when you want to disagree. You show up even when you don't have the energy. You say yes when your heart is screaming no. And at first, it feels noble. It feels like the right thing to do. It feels like kindness, generosity, selflessness. But there's a hidden cost: loneliness. Because the more you please others, the more invisible you become. People don't see your needs, your struggles, your truth. They see the mask. They see the smile. They see the version of you that makes their life easier. And slowly, you disappear. Your desires fade into the background. Your opinions go unheard. Your feelings get buried. And even when you're surrounded by people, you feel utterly alone. This is the loneliness of always pleasing others. It's a silence no one talks about. It's the emptiness that comes from giving so much of yourself that there's nothing left. Because people love the version of you that serves them, not the real you. And that truth is crushing. Think about it. When was the last time someone asked what you truly wanted? Without you bending, without you adjusting, without you minimizing yourself to keep the peace? When was the last time you felt seen, not for what you do for others, but for who you are? The sad reality is, when you live to please, you teach people that your needs don't matter. And if you keep teaching them that, they believe it. They believe you're fine with less. They believe you don't need support. They believe you exist only to give. And one day, you wake up and realize you've built a life where everyone is comfortable except you, and in that comfort, you are alone. Why does this happen? Because pleasing others is often rooted in fear. The fear of rejection, the fear of conflict, the fear of abandonment, the fear that if you don't keep giving, people will leave. So you give and give and give until giving is all you know. But here's the truth. Pleasing doesn't guarantee love. It doesn't guarantee loyalty. It doesn't guarantee respect. What it guarantees is exhaustion, emptiness, and loneliness. Because real love doesn't come from sacrifice. It comes from authenticity. Real respect doesn't come from being agreeable. It comes from standing firm. Real connection doesn't come from erasing yourself. It comes from being seen fully. The loneliness of pleasing others is not about being unloved. It's about being unseen. Because people can love the role you play without ever loving the person you are. So how do you break free? How do you escape the loneliness of always pleasing others? First, you must admit that you are lonely, not because you lack people, but because you lack authenticity in your relationships. Because being surrounded by people who don't know the real you is lonelier than being alone. Second, you must start disappointing people. Yes, disappointing them. You must get comfortable with letting someone down when their needs conflict with your own. Because every time you betray yourself to avoid disappointing others, you sink deeper into loneliness. Third, you must practice saying no, not harshly, not cruelly, but clearly, firmly, and without apology. Because every no is a declaration that your life matters, your needs matter, you matter. Fourth, you must start telling the truth. Say what you think. Say what you feel. Say what you want. Not in anger, not in rebellion, but in honesty. Because truth builds connection, and lies, even polite ones, build walls. Fifth, you must surround yourself with people who value your authenticity, not just your service. Because the right people will love you for who you are, not what you do for them. And the wrong people? They'll drift away when you stop pleasing them. And that's not a loss. It's freedom. But here's the hardest part. You must learn to sit with disapproval. You must learn to survive without constant applause. You must learn to carry the weight of someone else's disappointment without letting it crush you. because the moment you can survive without approval is the moment you become free. And freedom is the cure for loneliness. Because when you stop performing, stop pleasing, stop erasing yourself, you make space for real connection. People can finally see you, hear you, know you, and love you. Not the mask, not the role, not the pleaser, but you. The truth is, the loneliness of pleasing others doesn't end when people finally notice you. It ends when you finally notice yourself. When you give yourself the love, the respect, the attention you've been begging from others. When you stop abandoning yourself in the name of belonging. Because here's the final truth. You cannot build real connection on self-betrayal. You cannot build love on lies. You cannot build respect on silence. But you can build a life of meaning, love, and connection when you dare to stop pleasing. When you risk being disliked. When you choose authenticity over approval. When you decide that your voice, your needs, your truth matter as much as anyone else's. And the moment you do, the loneliness begins to fade. Not because everyone loves you, but because you finally love yourself. And when you love yourself, you will never feel invisible again.